Hey, Fraggle fans, Beth here. Just a quick note that this is the episode of Fraggle Rock that prominently features a racial slur, the one that starts with a G and ends with a Y. We're, of course, not going to repeat it, but we are definitely going to talk about it, and its historical context in oppressing the Roma or Romani people. So if that's something that directly affects you, by all means, skip this one. But for the rest of us, I think it's an important learning opportunity. Thanks for listening, and on with the show. Hello and welcome to Fraggle Talk Classic, the unofficial Fraggle Rock podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. My name is Beth, and I am rewatching for the millionth time.
My name is Julia, and I'm rewatching for the first time in 10 years.
Mwahaha, it's me, Hip Tushy, Beth's alter ego who hates Fraggles. Nee! I've seen this episode 1,000,000 times.
I'm sorry. My alter ego is named what?
Hip
Tushy, like Sidebottom?
Do I get a veto on that?
Yeah,
Tushy.
you probably do. Okay. Instead of that, I'm Adam, and I am watching this episode for the first time, but introducing my watching of it for the second time.
There you go. Yes, today we are talking about episode 23 of season 2, Boober's Quiet Day, which originally
Hip
aired...
Tushy, good lord. Sorry. Anyways, when did it air?
June 4th, 1984. Written by good old Jerry Jewell and directed by Eric Till.
Sweet.
Oh, what an episode, gang.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here, and I even like a lot of it.
Yeah, I like a lot of it, which makes the parts of it that are real bad that much worse.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. that. But we start off with Doc, and it is, in fact, not a Doc and Sprocket segment. It's just a Doc segment.
Yeah.
Is this the first time we've only gotten just one of them in the segment the entire time? I know that there was like one where Sprocket quote-unquote left, but he was also just out on the porch.
Right.
And so it was a lot of just Doc in the workshop.
I feel like we've had one that was just Sprocket, but I don't think we've had one that was just Doc.
Have we had one that was just Sprocket? I mean, we've definitely had
because
ones
there's that
where
one where he's like checking out and trying to figure it out, and he like Gobo scares him. There's like a whole slow shot. There's like a continuous take.
There were episodes where we get mostly Sprocket, but Doc was still there like at the very beginning and very end.
Oh, yeah, fair. That makes sense.
This is the one where we get no Sprocket whatsoever, at least not visually. You know, we get a little bit of his voice at the end.
We hear him at the very end, yeah.
The faint echoes of Sprocket voice. Sometimes it's like I can still hear him.
But Sprocket's at the vet getting a flea bath, which, in my mind, I was like, Doc, you can't give him a flea bath yourself, but, you know, maybe he's also getting, like, his nails trimmed and, you know, other things are being taken care of. Who knows? But
so, hold on. You're saying that Sprocket is getting his hair done, his nails done, and everything did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he fancy, huh?
At least after this he is.
Super fancy.
I'm dating myself with that reference.
Yeah, I don't even know what the reference is.
Oh, it's a hip hop song that was the bane of my existence when I first started actually being able to afford like nice things, because I'd be like, oh wow, this is like a nice bottle of bourbon, and then my back of my brain would just be like, oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh?
But Doc is, like, excited to have a nice, quiet day, which also, I will just note, he says a nice, quiet day, which immediately I was, like, thinking about Muppet Family Christmas, where he's like, you promised me a nice, quiet Christmas.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, Doc is chasing that nice, quiet time. And he doesn't get it at Muppet Family Christmas, but he does get it here, and he's very excited for it. And then immediately, like, just goes into autopilot mode and starts getting Sprocket's food ready for him. And then realizes, oh, wait, he's not here. Because he's like, I'm fine. I don't need Sprocket around. I'm going to have a good day. And then immediately just starts doing an action to feed Sprocket, which he doesn't do, like, in season 1 so many times.
Yep.
At all, even.
Yeah.
Doc, feed your dog. But he did. He did feed his dog. He fed his dog when his dog wasn't even here.
When it doesn't matter as much.
I guess that's progress if it's now on autopilot.
Yeah. And I mean, I related to Doc a lot in that moment because I too, just neurodivergent autopilotness where I start doing something and I'm like, wait, no, I don't need to do this today. Yep. It's just how I do it every other day. Oops. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I also just think it's really sweet that, like, oh, look how much of your, like, there's something to be said about having your routine being built around another person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how weird it is when that other person isn't there.
Very, very true.
So let me cut to Boober, and Boober is vibing. Boober is chilling. You could just take this image and just have a little bit of it and have it be the background of, like, really good lo-fi.
Yeah.
And then he dreams, and he has the chillest dream ever. He's just napping in a teacup, drifting through the cosmos. I want that.
I want a recreation of Boober's teacup. I love that it's an exact replica of the one he was holding in his hand. They just made it giant, and now it fits a whole Boober inside it.
Mm-hmm.
I also, if y'all out there do tea leaf reading, let us know what you see in that cup, because I didn't see anything.
Oh.
Except...
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I have not studied tea leaf reading at all. I just saw maybe a capital letter G at the end of a tentacle, and I don't think that's prescient at all.
I don't do tea leaf reading either, but I did try to zoom in, and it looked like it was a couple of pages from Moby Dick. A lot of spelling errors, though. lot of spelling errors.
Really quick, Beth, have you tried to make potato cookies yet? Are potato cookies a thing, actually?
I feel like that's a thing.
They would probably be a thing. It sounds like something that Dylan Hollis would make from, like, an old-timey 40s.
Is that the dude who makes from the... I was just thinking exactly. That, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I haven't thought of that guy in so long. Oh,
he's great. I love him.
YouTube, make sure I see all his new shorts. It's cooking with potato flour is definitely a thing.
Yeah, I was going to say there is potato flour. It surprised me at all if potato cookies were a thing, yeah. Yeah. Or just latkes.
What?
Chocolate chip latke. Never mind.
Oh.
I mean, okay, potato bread is a thing, though.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing.
I mean, and you could put applesauce on latkes and they taste great. So, like, the back and forth between sweet and savory, potatoes do that well.
They do. They're very versatile. They are possibly the most versatile tuber.
So, what Boober actually has here is a plate of,
versatile tuber. Erstwhile Boober. Let's talk about what Boober's doing. Continue.
He's got a plate of these things that almost look like either like rice cakes that have like red around the edge or like slices of radish that have been bruleed. It was like, that's not what I would... If you showed me that, I would have said radish something. I would not have said potato cookies.
I mean, I feel like radishes are probably also involved somehow.
Very likely.
So... Boober's dreaming, and he delves deep enough into his subconscious that Sidebottom rolls through. And in my notes, I just have, let's go, what's up, Sidebottom? Bring the funk, bring the chaos.
Yes. Oh, man, Sidebottom would be such a fun cosplay.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
But then, yeah, Boober also reiterates that he just wants a nice, quiet day. That's when I wrote, like, aha! More Muppet Family Christmas.
That's all he wants.
Boober, of course, knows that with Sidebottom here, the last thing he's going to get is a nice quiet day.
Indeed.
No, Sidebottom wants some knock around, dance him up fun and shenanigans. The last thing Boober wants.
Which, I mean, if you let Sidebottom shenan once, you best believe he's going to shenan again.
We get another puppet self-yeet.
Mm-hmm.
Where Boober's like, oh no, someone's shaking me awake, and Sidebottom's like, now's my chance, I'll go with you, and he plops himself on top of Boober and the teacup.
Yeah, they get woken up together, as it turns out, and it's Tosh waking him up, which Muppet Wiki told me that we've seen Tosh before, but this is the first time Tosh has been named. Who was the Fraggle in season 1 that Moki tried to set up with Wembley? Was that not Tosh?
That was Lou.
Okay. All right. For some reason, I thought that it was Tosh until I saw that on Muppet Wiki, so good to know.
Although, I might have to have the same little mini crusade with Tosh that I did with Lou, because Muppet Wiki says, Tosh Fraggle is a pink Fraggle with green hair. She has a pet beast named Beastie and is good friends with Boober, who harbors a crush on her. And I was like, hey, Muppet Wiki, this better happen in a later episode, or I'm getting in there and editing that out, because stop that.
But Beth, if we don't have compulsive heteronormative romantic relationships, how will we distract people from finding nourishment in their community?
What? You mean they might find nourishment within their community and become more...
interdependent?
Fragglier?
Oh, wow. Yeah, you heard it here first, editors of the Muppet Wiki. Every time you try to shoehorn in a crush, you're making the world a little less fraggly.
Oh. We even heard...
Yeah, I said it. Come at me. You can't. You don't know where I am. I'm behind you. Platonically.
No, but seriously, this is something that we will keep an eye out for, because Tosh is going to come back a couple more times. This, I think, is the most that we see of her. I think she's more of a background character in the future, but she definitely does come back. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if it happens.
All right. So what happens next? We just met a young Daniel Tosh with his lovely pet, and she wants Boober to look after it while she goes and does some stuff, right?
Yep.
We don't see this pet, this beastie. It's behind like a curtain
This time.
and that's, I don't know, it's such a wild introduction to both Tosh and the fact that she has a, presumably at that point, we'll see it later, but just a beast as a pet, which have we seen, Moki's got Lanford, which is a plant, but it's also a pet, basically.
Yeah.
Do Fraggles have other pets? Is that normal?
I remember an episode where Gobo, and I don't remember if he said this, if this is an episode we've covered yet or not. I remember specifically saying that, I remember Gobo saying that he had like a pet rock beetle or thimble beetle, some beetle creature, as a pet when he was younger.
Familiar.
I made a rock lobster joke.
Right.
Okay, so it's not out of the realm of possibility for Fraggles to have pets. Yeah. Interesting.
And I love the variety. Like, you can have a little bitty beetle, or you can have sentient plants, or you can have a gigantic beast.
Yup.
I also just want to point out, she hands Boober the rope, and in I think it's one take, it might not have been, I'm a little sleepy, but we see Boober with his feet on either side of the, archway that the canyon is, actively pulling back on the rope so that the beast doesn't just yank him in.
Yeah.
And, that's a puppet.
This is a great moment of puppetry.
Yeah.
That's a puppet that is actively, or at least giving the illusion of, actively exerting its leg muscles to not get pulled into a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. I guess this is the part where we have to address why Tosh would like Boober to watch the beastie.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a note at the start of this episode, Beth, from you?
Well, so here's the thing. We're not going to say...
Yeah.
We're not going to say the word that is a normalized slur.
Sure. It was more that, I didn't know if this had already been addressed by you in the future.
That's a good point.
Editing the episode.
Right. Maybe giving a content warning that, hey, we discuss this specific ethnic slur and its history and, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, I did not the deepest of dives. This is not an area of, social justice history that I am very familiar with. But I am familiar with a fair amount of the theory around it. The 10 steps of genocide involve you define a group as an other, and then you normalize treating them worse with, picking specific words to use for them. And then you normalize the, acceptableness of, causing harm to this person or this group of people or anyone in this group of people. And then eventually you try to make sure that you can control where they live and how they work. And I'm glossing over some stuff, but I want to point out this particular slur, which, if you've listened, you know it, starts with a G.
I just want to interrupt for a second to be clear about what we're talking about, because not everyone... This is still a word that not everyone knows is a bad word.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah.
Starts with a G, ends with a Y, and is used as an epithet against the Roma people, but also has been,
co-opted by the woo-woo spiritual folk to mean wanderlust and special and in touch with the mystical things, which are also just really messed up stereotypes, as I will get to.
Right. Yes.
So as I was saying about the normalization of this word and the fact that most people don't even understand its history is a really excellent example of a very successful push of these steps of genocide, because this has been going on to the best of my understanding in terms of research, since like the year 900.
Whoa.
Yeah. Roma people immigrated from a northern place in what is now northern India, as far as I can tell. And also, listeners, if I have gotten this wrong, please let me know. This is one that I would like to get right. I did my best. I went to sources that, as far as I could tell, were posted by Roma folk in sites that were authored by Roma folk. But if I've missed something, I would love to hear that. Just also, check your sources too.
Yeah.
But like, there is a whole history of oppression here that is completely unknown and has been completely erased. Roma slaves, like Romani slaves, were shipped to the Americas with Columbus in 1948.
Whoa. That's something you don't hear in American educational system history books now, do you, when you hear about Columbus?
No, you don't.
Nope.
They were also sold to Louisiana colonies in the late 1700s, before 1800. And a whole bunch of them were killed in the Holocaust.
That I did
Just
know.
a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one doesn't get talked about. And I think people are like, oh, well, if we say that like 250,000 to 500,000, that's not as big as 6 million. But like, there were only about 1 million people in Europe who were Roma at the time. So that's like half of the population. Yeah. Like, the amount of stuff that has happened is awful. And all of the various different like, oh, wanderlust. No, they just like didn't have a safe place where they could live.
Yeah. It's like wandering by choice due to like a free spirit is very different from being constantly persecuted everywhere you go.
So just a reminder, part of making the world a little fragglier, do your best to be kind. And that includes understanding the history of words. And writers of Fraggle Rock, you dropped the ball on this one.
Yeah.
Anyways, so apparently there is a stereotypical Romani woman. That's one that I didn't quite understand, is when it's an adjective and when it's a noun.
Yeah.
There's a linguistic
I think
complication there that I missed.
For purposes for this episode, we probably shouldn't ascribe that ethnicity to her because...
Oh, that's why I didn't say she's Romani. I said stereotypically Romani.
Yeah. I just said...
That adverb was doing a lot of work here.
I just said old lady in my notes, or traveling lady,
I just said OGL.
Fortune teller. Fortune teller would work fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wanted to note that, like, all of these are very stereotypical traits. And that is messed up. It's really messed up.
Yeah, especially we'll talk about when Boober suddenly is in costume, and also we meet this character at the end.
Yes.
But like, the costume, the accent, the musical sting that comes in, the one song in this episode is a lot. And I do feel like this stereotype and like recognizing that this is an ethnic slur really so many people, as we said, don't already know this. And I feel like I didn't learn about this until I was like in my late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, I didn't learn about it until maybe 2013, 14, not, in the span of my life, not that long ago.
I distinctly remember the moment I learned about it because I used there's a term that is half of that word.
Right.
That means like a ripoff. And I was like, oh man, what is that? And the person I was with was like, did you know that comes from this, which is a slur? And I was like, oh, what? Wow. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had a similar experience. I remember watching the movie Hunchback of Notre Dame when I was 8 and loving that movie. And that the song God Help the Outcast came on my new car's Sirius XM radio on the Disney Channel, and I said, whoa, I forgot that they use words in the song that I didn't question when I was a kid.
Hold up, wait a minute.
And at least the Hunchback of Notre Dame has a lot about Esmeralda's plight of her people. That's a big part of it.
That is true. And it is her saying the word in the song. So you could be like, well, it could be like a reclamation, or her, it is used against her. And so she is able to use it, obviously.
Which many Roma people do choose to do, but obviously not all of them.
Yeah, and that's obviously not a call that white writers get to make.
No, certainly not. And the character's voiced by a white actress. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. So we'll touch more as Boober gets further and further into the lie, which I'll also just shout out that this episode made me think about, did either of you grow up with Veggie Tales?
No.
Yes.
It made me think of Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space, where there's, did you see that?
Yes.
Where there's a little thing from outer space. And Junior just lies and it gets bigger and bigger. And that's like what this kind of episode makes me think of, because I watched that. I was, religion's a whole thing that I don't really stand for anymore as an adult. But man, I loved Veggie Tales as a kid so much.
VeggieTales holds up, honestly, for the most part. I went recently, like a year and change ago, went back and rewatched Rumorweed. Rumorweed's great.
Yeah. I feel like the thing with VeggieTales...
Also, that song goes hard.
Yeah, VeggieTales really... This is a whole other tangent, but VeggieTales leaned into, like, the good things that I liked about faith and religion, and just being really chill and cool and loving. Yeah, so that's what this made me think of, was that episode of Larry Boy.
And just to tie it back into the last Adam and Julia corner we did, there was a bit in the Mountain Goats posting group that I'm in where they were making Mountain Goats VeggieTales memes.
I'm in it, but I don't think I saw that one. That's amazing.
This was years ago.
All right.
But I remember getting an incredible amount of positive reactions because I had Larry looking for his hairbrush set to Woke Up New.
Oh my God.
The morning that I woke up without you, I felt free and I felt lonely and I felt scared.
What a wild mashup.
It's great. I love that we're also just like slowly shaving down the percentage of our listeners who understand what the hell we're talking about. All right, getting back to it. He tells a lie that he's going on a trip.
Because he doesn't want to watch The Beast.
Right.
I don't want to watch The Beast.
And so Tosh leaves and Boober's immediately like, why did I lie? I never lie. And then suddenly Sidebottom is there with him, which is Sidebottom actually there, or is it like a Fight Club? Not to spoil Fight Club for people.
Fight Club.
But is it
Wow.
I know.
I've been waiting to watch Fight Club until I turned 40, Julia.
Yeah, I know.
I can't believe you just spoiled it for
30
me.
years later. Yeah, I couldn't figure out if Sidebottom was actually in the room with him, or if it's just we're seeing him have a conversation with himself and it's just personified.
I believe it's the second one.
Yeah, that's kind of the
because we get to
impression I
see them like body swap and
That's true. Oh yeah, there's a really cool shot where they kind of combine together and it becomes Sidebottom and Boober goes, no, it's got to be me, and then they shake and suddenly it's Boober, and it's a really cool visual effect.
That was very good.
But Sidebottom is
again call back to Severance.
Oh yeah. We talked before we started recording about, Adam, you just watched Severance and then followed it with this episode.
In fact, I was listening to the episode that dropped this morning and you made a reference to like watching an episode of Severance with your husband and him being like, what, did we miss something? And you being like, trust us, we'll get there. And like, that was the one with the snow, right?
It was the one with the snow, couple back.
Yeah, I just watched that one. It's so good.
Oh, I haven't watched last night's episode yet. Man, that's also a whole other tangent I could go on as that show.
I think we've had enough corners. I think we've gone from a square to like an octagon. So let's Beth, you want to get us back on track?
So much in the grand tradition of, oh no, I told a lie and now I have to tell more lies to cover up the initial lie. Moki comes by to say, hey, well, as long as you're going on this trip, would you mind getting this thing for me, specifically Dreedlebug nests to make ink with? And the snowball of lies gets bigger.
How do you make ink out of a Dreedlebug nest?
I mean, it depends on what they're made out of, because, you know, maybe they like turn black when you soak them in water. I don't know. Maybe she's making a brown ink.
Grind them up and make a paste. Who knows?
Who knows?
No, the answer is very carefully, because it stains.
That is what ink do.
Ink do that.
So Boober's like, sure, I'll do that thing for you. And then he happens to run into the storyteller, who, it's nice to see her again for like a minute.
Yeah.
But he's like, aha, she's probably got ink to spare. And as he's trying to, start this conversation with her to ask for like, hey, do you have any extra Dreedle nests that I could make ink from? He ends up lying to her that he's writing a book.
Yeah.
She's so excited to read it. Like, genuinely, It's very sweet.
About his dreams and nightmares.
Which, honestly, I would love to read that too.
I just want to be in a cup drifting through the cosmos, taking a good little nap.
Yeah. I want to know what that means to Boober. And then, let's see. Oh, Red is next.
Mm-hmm. And she wants to crash in his cave, right?
Yep. Because if you're not going to be here tonight because going to the Lilac Cavern is an overnight trip, then that must mean your cave is free. And he says, no, I already promised it to, circling back, I'm just going to keep calling her OGL. And
Yeah, that works.
Then, let's see. Oh, Gobo and Wembley are next.
And he hides this time. Like, he doesn't actually speak to them. Him and Sidebottom are, like, tucked away as they poke their heads in, and he overhears their conversation about a surprise party, which is for the traveling lady, or... Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Boober's miserable, also, at this point. He's just like, I can't believe I keep lying. This is getting worse and worse. And Sidebottom's just having the time of his life.
Sidebottom's having a great time just, like, stirring the pot.
And now we go back to Doc in the workshop.
Yep.
And he's so bored.
He's just chucking dog treats into Sprocket's bed.
Yeah, that way that you, like, you know, chuck little balled up bits of paper or whatever into the trash can to see if you can, like, make it in. And there's just dog biscuits all in and around Sprocket's bed. And then he takes a bite of one.
Which, I mean, most dog treats are, like, a human could eat them.
Right.
You probably don't...
I mean, a human could eat most things if they weren't a coward.
True. I would recommend probably if any dog treat is, like, meat-based, there's some kind of meat component, it's probably safe. I wouldn't recommend it, especially the ones that, like, smell like meat. That feels like it would be pretty gross. But I make my own dog treats sometimes for dogs, and it's just literally egg, flour, pumpkin, and peanut butter. And that's it. And I've tried a bite of one, and I'm like, it's really bland as a human for me personally, but dogs like it, and it's safe. So, you know, it is, but it is also a funny beat where he's just like, I hate nice quiet days, and then he does a chomp of the biscuit.
It's really funny because it felt like, at first I was like, bro, you are neurodivergent, read a book. And then I was like, oh, he's stimulus seeking.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I used to be stimulus seeking before I was a teacher.
Now you get enough.
I get too much. I am stimulus avoidant now. People are like, you want to do things? And I'm like, no.
Oh, that's also me as well, because I just have too much else going on in my life with organizing and poetry. I love being by myself. I love a nice quiet day. I was like,
that's the day I'm having right now, and I'm so excited. I made myself a chill breakfast grilled cheese sandwich. I watched an episode of Severance, recording a podcast. I'm about to clean my room a little bit, watch another episode of Severance.
I gotta say though, if I were having a nice quiet day and my kitty were at the vet, yeah, I'd be sadder and boreder than I would be if she were home snuggling with me.
That is also very true. So we cut back to Boober, and he's like, what am I gonna do? They're all gonna be here and they're expecting the traveling lady. And he's like, well, you just gotta dress up like her. And then Sidebottom does Sidebottom magic, and there's a big poof, and then Boober is wearing an incredibly gauche Romani stereotype outfit. And Boober goes, this is terrible! And I went out loud, yeah. Yeah, it is.
There's a peg leg.
There's a peg leg and a squeaky shoe.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, the wig is fantastic. It's a long purple. It's a great color match with
I do
Boober's.
love, just like aesthetically, the wig rules. I would love it much more if it was like doing a different thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I also wrote, oh no, the accent in all caps. That's all I wrote there. I did say, it does sound like just a bad Italian accent. There is that, at least, where it's just like, doesn't feel on the mark, but it also still feels crummy at the same time.
Right. Bad in a different way.
Yeah.
So Moki's back. And she gets to see this traveling lady has appeared.
And she says she's gonna go and follow Boober, right?
Right.
She's worried about him.
Yeah.
Which
is sweet.
Why is she telling this lady she's never met before? I can't remember.
I mean, I guess explaining why she's there, because she was looking for Boober?
Oh, yeah, because Boober, as the lady, is in his cave. Okay. Yeah.
And then Boober's like, oh, well, I don't think he was planning to spend the night. He was just going to rush right there and rush right back. And Moki's like, all in one day? Like, he's going to be exhausted.
Yeah, it's a full day there. Are you kidding me?
And then Gobo appears with the postcard.
Oh, right.
I liked this one. This one made me laugh.
Yeah.
Was it the last episode where Matt was, or like maybe 2 episodes ago, where he was suddenly just in a child's room. He's getting so much more invasive because his disguise is just a lampshade and he's in a family's home watching them eat dinner.
He's just graduated to full-on breaking and entering.
Yeah.
On the reg.
Which I'm sure he doesn't even realize is breaking and entering because he's a doofus, you know, but still, he's just in people's houses watching them eat. His theory is that these napkins that the silly creatures, you know, have a strong affection for, you know, the simple piece of cloth called a napkin. And y'all, this family, these parents are so delighted to be putting napkins on their laps. It is weird.
It is very much an infomercial family.
And just the mom dabs the napkin on her face for so long. It's one thing
after taking one bite.
After one bite, like it's one thing if it's like really messy, you bring it up and then you continue. But she just continues doing it, and she's like relishing in it. And I'm like, this is.
It does seem
so
like there's some level of an intimate relationship with that napkin.
So in a way, it makes sense.
I mean, think about it. What would you think if there was somebody who just like, yes, as part of the food ritual, I keep this little thing on my lap, and every so often I kiss it.
Yeah.
Good point.
So Matt's like, I guess I should try kissing this napkin. He gives a little smooch and he's like, no, not for me.
Not for me.
He specifically says, I remain unaffected.
Do Fraggles kiss in their culture?
Huh.
We've seen people give like forehead kisses, haven't we?
Yeah, and like also, I think like Moki like gave Boober a kiss on the cheek in like maybe season 1 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe it's just that kind of kissing, like that side of affection, but maybe not for romantic reasons. I just had that question.
Yeah, that I don't think we ever see.
Okay.
Which, side note, this family's dinner is completely beige.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to what they were eating.
Yeah, because it was beige and it didn't grab your attention at all.
They didn't want it to. They wanted you to pay attention to those napkins.
Exactly. I'm just like, are they eating like a biscuit and a huge pile of fries and maybe some fried chicken? Like I could not figure it out.
That
it was
sounds
too blurry.
So good right now. I'm so hungry.
Sorry.
I wasn't, but now I am.
It's the 80s. I feel like a lot of food that families fed to one another was just beige at that point.
Oh, certainly. I am extremely guilty of eating only beige food all day for far too many days.
Mm-hmm. Love some beige food.
Yep. Basically, I ended that episode being like, okay, how did that postcard connect to the themes of this episode?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so it's not just me.
Maybe they filmed it thinking of using it for a different episode. Like, I wonder if they did that at all, where they just did a bunch of Matt segments and were able to line most of them up with episodes that worked. And then occasionally they'd be like, well, we don't actually have anything that works with this one, so here's just a random funny one. You know, maybe
that very well might be the case. Yeah.
Maybe there is something we're missing, but
I'm trying,
be
and
my guess.
I'm not seeing.
There's nothing about a quiet day. There's nothing about lying or disguising yourself.
I mean, there could be something about the duality of the self, like a napkin both exists as a tool for hygiene and also as like a soft and intimate companion.
Maybe.
That feels
like a stretch.
That is a stretch, yeah.
So we come back and Tosh is back. She's like, oh, you're back. Or is there more?
Oh, not yet. So there's a bit of Gobo and Moki planning the surprise party.
We get Boober like going back into his cave and like he rips off his wig, and it kind of, I wrote down that this episode is turning into the final act of Mrs. Doubtfire, because then he goes back to being himself, because he goes to Moki
to give her the nests. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's where he runs into Red, and she's like, whoa, you went all the way to the Lilac Cavern and back in one day. You're not even out of breath. This beautiful comedic timing by Dave Coles, just like take a beat and then start panting out of nowhere.
Yeah. And Red is clearly confused because, you know, in her mind, I'm sure she's like, I could do it, but even I would be out of breath. And, you know.
Yeah. But then, yeah, Tosh does come back because she's heard, oh, Boober came back in one day, therefore, now he can babysit Beastie.
Does Tosh have no one else that she could ask?
Apparently not. Like, she didn't even ask in the beginning. She just, like, mentioned, like, Beastie, and Boober was like, and she kind of, like, foisted this on him. So...
I bet Moki would have done it.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, the beast is big and a lot.
Yep.
It's just a beast on a leash. It's green.
I love the beast.
Got a little bow in its hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that, like,
Beastie
mossy...
is played by Karen Prell.
Nice.
And yeah, it's got this, like, kind of high-pitched roar. It's a very interesting sound.
And it has really sweet body language.
Yeah, then, like, only one scene later, and then Boober is, like, giving it little chinny scritches and baby talk, which Sidebottom said, like, that's all he wants, and sure enough, it works. Lulls the beastie to sleep.
This is also the part where we kind of see Boober, he's, like, really fighting hard to not admit it, but he's kind of enjoying himself a little bit.
Right.
You know, but then when Sidebottom starts, like, ribbing him and being like, oh, you like it, you know, that Boober basically says, that's what you want. It's silly to admit that I want it too. And Sidebottom keeps reminding him, like, I'm a part of you. I'm a different side of you. So you are actually having fun. And then Boober's, like, gonna go hide before the surprise party happens. But I guess the surprise is that everyone was hiding outside of the cave.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a song that happens, which I wrote, there's a song, and I've tapped out.
Mm-hmm. Well, so first, they have her start reading fortunes in their tails.
Oh, okay. Apparently I tapped out even earlier, because I don't remember that.
Yeah. Moki says, the legend says that you can tell a Fraggle's fortune by reading the shape of his tail. And
he also just, like, calls her Moki, and she's like, oh my god, you know my name!
And yeah, Boober just uses exactly what he knows about his friends to convince them all that he's fortune-telling.
Mm-hmm.
I do love that Sidebottom is, like, hiding back in Boober's cave, like, listening right at the curtain door, and he's just quietly like, way to go, Boober. It's like, oh, that's actually pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And Boober tries to get out of it and leave early, but they're like, no, you gotta sing a song first. And he pops back in like, what am I gonna do? They want me to sing a song. And Sidebottom's like, well, you may not know any G-word songs, but I do. And he starts, like, he whispers the first verse to him, and then when the chorus comes along, he's like, Sidebottom is, like, giving him the line one by one, so it makes kind of like an echo.
Mm-hmm. And that part rules, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Just on a musically structural level, that part is great. Because they build it into the song. It's a part of the song.
Yeah.
That there's this call and response kind of vibe, except instead of the call being one person leading the song and everybody singing, it's one part of one person's brain whispering it and then the other person singing it out loud.
Yeah. And, like, this is a song that I didn't really appreciate when I was a kid, and, like, now looking back on the lyrics, I'm like, oh, yeah, this lady is singing about how, like, hey, you're kind of exoticizing my life, and it's actually pretty hard. Yeah, it's just kind of like a song about the ups and downs of life, and, you know, a good thing comes into your life, and then it's gone, and you just kind of have to appreciate it, and appreciate the times when you're alone, and it feels relevant to who this character could have been if she were more fully fleshed out, and if they actually went into, like, hey, here's why, you know, it's not all fun and games being a whimsical wanderer. It you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's frustrating to see that they had, like, a small window to try to do right by this, and they did, like, a tiny bit and then didn't do more.
Yeah. It was giving me... I wrote in my notes, it's giving Landslide.
Hmm?
Like a Fleetwood Mac song later covered by the Chicks about, like, Another song that I didn't understand when it was popular is like, yeah, it's about getting older. And so you're not going to understand it when you're 20.
Oh, that's the one they play in that one South Park episode. Got it.
It's also the song I danced with my dad at my wedding.
I know. God, that was lovely.
You had a South Park wedding?
Yup, a South Park wedding, my
Cool.
favorite thing.
I mean, look, if that's what works for you, I support you in chasing your bliss.
So during this song, while Boober...
I was not expecting immediate agreement. I'm tickled. Appreciate you. Anyways, you were saying, Beth, sorry.
So during this song, while Boober is just... Oh, he's just eating this up. He's absolutely having the time of his life. Like, getting more and more into it the longer it goes. And then the actual OGL shows up.
Mm-hmm. And she's very confused.
Mm-hmm.
Boober basically has to reveal his lie and how he just wanted to have a nice, quiet day to himself. And immediately everyone is just like, well, you should have asked.
Yeah.
And then they leave him alone. So, like, it's one thing to be, like, understanding, but I feel like they could have, like, held his feet a little bit more to the fire and been like, yeah, but you lied to us the entire day. Multiple lies to all of us. But they just leave. They're like, okay. And then they go.
Maybe, in my headcanon, they're planning to talk to him after he has his day.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's the case.
But just that moment of, he even says, like, just ask. Huh. Like, realizing, like, oh, you mean I can just ask people for what I want and the people who care about me will care about my needs?
That is kind of a wild thought.
It is. When you're not used to it, it's kind of a game changer.
Yeah. Beth, do you want to tell us about sorry, Doc and Sprocket.
Well, so we get a little wrap up with just Boober and Sidebottom.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like JD was saying in his article about this episode, like, this episode is kind of trying to be a lot of things at once and having a lot of themes at once. And, like, it's kind of about, the snowball of lies, but it's also kind of about if you don't fully accept and integrate, all these parts of yourselves, they're going to come bursting out in maybe not so great ways.
And I feel like that is the crux of this episode that is aggressively distracted from by all of the various stereotypes. But, like, the understanding that, and this part I really did like, because Sidebottom keeps saying, why do you keep saying you don't want this? I want this and I'm you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, there are parts of you, like, to quote the great Walt Whitman, do I contradict myself? Very well, I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mild paraphrasing.
Sidebottom even says, if your dull side would cooperate with your fun side, both sides of us could have a good time without the lying. Because Boober does admit he had a good time, but he's like, I still wish we didn't lie. And Sidebottom's like, well, here's a way we could do it without the lying in the future.
Yeah.
Which is a nice little compromise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Boober gets chased by the beast.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
That's the sting at the end of the Fraggle bit, is he's gonna, like, take his sweet, nice, quiet day, and then the beastie appears and just starts chasing him around.
Yep. Oh, look, the ramifications of my actions.
Mm-hmm.
Curses. So then we get Doc, and Doc is on the fence about whether or not he should call the vet so he can talk to his dog, which is really sweet.
Yeah. It's like, no, they'll think I'm crazy. I'm like, well, they might, but also, the vet's office has seen a lot of people being very attached to their pets. Like, they've seen it all. They've heard it all.
Also, Doc, unless that person has power over you, don't change your behavior to avoid the judgment of a neurotypical.
And then the phone rings, and Sprocket wants to speak to him.
It's very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Very adorable.
And you can tell that Sprocket's not having a great time.
Yeah.
He's, like, howling, and Doc's trying to reassure him, like, I'll pick you up soon. Then, of course, we end on the contrast of, like, Doc saying, like, it's been such a quiet day, while we hear Sprocket just howling in the background.
Yeah.
He misses his friend.
Yeah.
Both of them miss their friends. It's nice.
You want to tell us about the international versions?
Yeah. So, just a couple of notes from Muppet Wiki. It says, in the UK version, Sprocket is spending his day with Marjorie Tibbs, the vet, for his annual checkup. The captain receives a call from Marjorie that Sprocket is refusing to eat his food and may be ill. The captain becomes concerned and starts to reminisce about when Sprocket was a puppy.
Aww.
In Uncle Matt's postcard, Matt visits the library and tries to liven the place up a bit, first with conversation, then by performing his famous Happy Radish dance.
Oh, no, wait, I want to see that.
This segment is used in the Canadian version of episode 410, so we will get there.
We will.
Yeah.
We get to see the Happy Radish
in the
dance.
future.
Thank goodness.
That's amazing.
I also really want to see the baby Sprocket puppet.
Yeah, I wonder if they actually made one, or if the captain is just kind of talking about it.
Mm.
In the world my heart wants to exist, there's no way they could resist making a little baby Sprocket puppet.
Right? Yeah, little baby Sprocket puppy.
Just a little baby Sprocket puppet.
Marjorie Tibbs calls the captain again to tell him she left Sprocket's kennel open by mistake and he's disappeared.
Aww.
Sprocket has found his way back to the lighthouse all on his own. Okay, phew. Jeez.
Good boy.
Yeah.
What a good boy.
The only other notes from Muppet Wiki is that this is another episode where the lyrics were written by B.P. Nickel rather than Dennis Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a quote from Dave Goles where he's describing how they shot this episode, with the two characters that are both him.
There's some green screening involved, isn't there?
It says, we used Ultimate? I'm not sure. Maybe this is like a tech term at the time. To allow me to perform two characters on the screen at once, I performed the first character in the set, leaving pauses for the second character's lines. Then I performed the second character in front of a blue screen, and it was matted into the picture. I choreographed the movements to give the illusion that both characters could move freely in the set. The episode was especially challenging for two other reasons. First, it was written as a farce, and the plot was complicated. Second, it was about Boober trying to integrate the two sides of his personality, and everything in the show had to support that growth. So yes, blue screen.
Alrighty, shall we talk about how to make the world a little fragglier?
When you need a nice quiet day, just tell people that. You're allowed to say no to things.
Also, if there are parts of yourself that need stuff that you're not giving them, try to find a good and healthy way to make that happen. You're allowed to say yes to yourself.
I think that if you miss your friend, it's okay to call or text or email and not question yourself about it or worry what other people will think. There's nothing wrong with reaching out if you miss someone. Yeah.
All right, that is it for this one. If you want to find us, I am on social media at Beth Anna Cook. That's Anna with two N's. And occasionally writing stuff for Tough Pigs.
And you can find me at Geek Girl Grown Up on social media, also occasionally writing for Tough Pigs, and at juliegaskell.com for poetry stuff.
You can't find me unless you want to fight me about that challenge that I dropped earlier, in which case I'll be in the Denny's parking lot closest to your place of work at about 12:30 in the morning having a casual conversation with a sentient cloud of flies.
Wow.
All right, reminder to check out toughpigs.com, give us a good review on your podcatcher of choice, and we will see you next time.
Don't forget to dance your cares away.
Down at Fraggle Talk.
Bwom.
Fraggle Talk Classic is brought to you by toughpigs.com. Fraggle Talk art by Dave Holteen Jr. The Fraggle Rock mark and logo, characters, and elements are trademarks of the Jim Henson Company. All rights reserved. The Fraggle Rock theme song, written by Philip Balsam and Dennis Lee, is used with permission. Special thanks to the Jim Henson Company and the entire Fraggle Rock family. For more from Tough Pigs, please find us at Tough Pigs on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, TeePublic, and Patreon. Fraggle Talk Classic is produced and edited by me, Beth Cook. Thank you to Joe Hennis, the Tough Pigs Muppet Fan Podcast executive producer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time, down at Fraggle Talk.
And I feel like that is the crux of this episode that is aggressively distracted from by all of the various stereotypes. But sorry, Beth, you leaned back and it looked like you just vanished.
Oh, here, let me do it again.
Ah!